So how's it going, my Comic Chat Army? We're here today with KJ Eldridge, the creator of All Roads Lead to Hell. And say the other one for me. Don't want to butcher it.
Argonautica.
All right.
Stole it from a Greek mythology.
So I flipped through the comics that you sent me, and it looks like a style of Western manga. Yep. Where did you get the inspiration from that, or for that?
I mean, my art style is kind of a progression. Like a lot of people in my age range, I came up with like the Image crew, like that was my inspiration. Todd McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, all those guys. So like when I was a kid, that's who I wanted to draw like. And then I discovered Dragon Ball, discovered Ninja Scroll, anime, manga, different things, and started incorporating that kind of like flavor into it, like that kind of storytelling, just learning just different ways to draw in different styles. So and also like if you add in like the cartoonist element, like Sunday comic strips, all that kind of stuff, and just trying to take a wide variety of different art styles and translate it to something that feels personal to me and to what story that I'm working on. So like I'm grabbing my books real quick. Like this one is one I did first. This is the collected edition of Wulvern, All Roads Lead to Hell, and through it, that's where you can definitely see the Image influence. There's definitely some manga like set, like the way I compose some of the scenes and stuff, but the art is very heavily influenced by Spawn, Pit, that universe of early Image, and as I went, depending on like, and it fit the storyline because this is a story. Wulvern, All Roads Lead to Hell is a story about a werewolf hunter in the Old West that's getting hunted by the Vatican. They sent a bunch of warrior priests after him. It's the middle of a big werewolf civil war, so it's a bloodbath. It's grimy. It's that kind of thing. So the Spawn influenced art style really lends itself to that story. Like you have the gothic kind of big horror gothic kind of tone to it. And then when I'm drawing, or I created Argonautica, I really wanted to change the way I drew for it. A lot of this first book of Argonautica I drew during the most restricted part of the pandemic, when at first I was working like a day job or whatever. I would take my son to school and I'd have about a 30-minute window before going to school or dropping him off and then going to work. And I would stop at a coffee shop on the way and I'd have about 20-25 minutes to draw. So I would just set that time, like what is the fastest way that I can get a story out to feel like I'm doing something, because sometimes with a bunch of kids, having kids, job, family and stuff, you don't have a lot of time. So I still wanted to be productive with comics, so I simplified my style and changed it. Instead of being heavy line work like in Wulvern, where I have all the cross hatching, all the different lines to show how grimy everything is, I streamlined it and kind of moved towards more of a manga / Disney, I guess, approach. I don't know if you can see it in it, but you can. There's I tried to hit that direction. So like my goal was like never to spend any longer than 3 hours total on a page, penciling and inking. So like once I got the figures down, that was it. And I got better as I went, but I would end up making about a page or two.
Well, yeah, can't even show it to them. There we go.
Yeah, there you go. And so I would end up making a page or two a week. So it was just more of like, I wanted something that fit that story. The story's a lot lighter. It's like more humor involved. I mean, there might be even some political undertones. Like there's lots of different things. I'm having fun with that one because it was a tough time for everybody. I wanted to do something that was fun. So fun and quick, felt good to do. So a lot of the Argonautica stuff was drawn right before the pandemic, and most of it was drawn when we were all kind of locked down, like in between going to jobs, if you know, that kind of thing. So that's where the art style came from, and it helped out because the book that I'm working on now, which is called Tree Flower, is a book that me and my wife are doing together. She wrote it. I helped her edit it. And she is a fan of, she loves anime. We all love Disney. Like that's like, so and this one I'm not trying to draw in 3 hours. It's more of like this is probably one of the most difficult projects I've ever had to do artistically. So Tree Flower is, you know, I'm putting in like, you know, 8-10 hours a page, you know, pencils and inks. And I can show a few pictures. If you look at, I guess I'll probably tell you all my Instagram and all that stuff later, but I'll show you some of the pages. I just brought a bunch of stuff over to show. Oh.
Is all of that for sale?
It will be one day. It's not
Okay.
in a book. It's not in book form yet, but
No, just the pages. Like, can people buy the individual pages at cons?
I do, like, for stuff that's already been published.
Okay.
I had like this stuff, like, well, I'm not sure. Like, so you see, like it's a different type of art style. I don't know.
I like it.
See kind of stuff going on, and I keep dropping my microphone.
So since you're
Sorry.
okay.
I got a raggedy mic. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay.
So since you're a family man, have you drawn your kids in the comic anywhere?
Not in the comic, but I've definitely I for anniversaries and gifts, I've drawn a few pictures, like family portraits in like a medieval fantasy style. So
Nice.
well, I'm a little late on one because we've had another baby since the last one I drew, so I'm due. So we got oh man, I don't have that with me, but I definitely you can find it. I put it up on all my social media stuff, but you can find it somewhere.
Are you open for consultations?
Usually only at conventions, just because my time is super limited, and I like to draw like like when I'm drawing, I want to like knock out pages. So like usually like if it's around convention time, I'll do commissions like crazy, and you know, open things up, and then like in between, I'm in like full production mode, like. Okay. Got to get pages out, because like the Tree Flower book is like, it's about 150 page graphic novel.
Wow.
Yeah, like I never do anything small. Like everything is always giant. Like these are like the Wulvern one and the Argonautica book are like they're both like 120 pages, and that's just like the first volume. So I'm trying to punch out stuff as quickly as possible, or you know, so I don't do a lot of commissions. Sometimes if you have something in mind, hit me up and we'll see what we can do. I've definitely done some, but
sorry, I was looking at your book.
Oh, cool.
Do you kickstart this, or do you fund it yourself?
So far I've funded all of my work myself, and I've done a Kickstarter. When Kickstarter kind of first came out, I was part of tangentially part of a project that was one of the early Kickstarter ones. It did get funded and all that stuff, and we were really proud of it. But since then, I think one of my faults as a creator is I'm not as like excited about the promotional aspect of it. Like, and I know that when you do a Kickstarter, it's like 99% campaigning, basically. Like you're constantly on it all day, and that to me is like a little intimidating, because I know I can do it. Like if I can talk to somebody one-on-one, normally I'll be okay. But the idea of doing it every single day and like taking me away from actually working on stuff to promote things and stuff, that I've definitely thought about it, because it would be nice to not pay out of pocket every time, and have people like a built-in audience for it. So it's something we've discussed with the Tree Flower book, but we're not close enough yet. I'm also afraid that the crowdfunding thing, if I did do one, and sometimes they tend to run really late, and I would want to be almost done with it, or done with something before I even put it in the Kickstarter, just because, like, I don't know, I don't want to disappoint people. Like, I would feel awful if I had a book that somebody wanted to, was really excited about me putting in or putting out, and it's like a year late or something, and I'm like, and if I decide to go play a video game, I'm like, I could really be working on the book right now. But
right. I mean, you've got these two. I mean, you could kickstart these two with the new one and bundle them all together. Just an idea.
I definitely have the material for it. But so far I've just put them through Amazon. Like, that's most recently what I've been doing with all my books. They have a really good, I don't know if you heard, but Amazon has a really good distribution system. So way better than when I was selling stuff out of my backpack and trying to get. So, like, I love that they can print on demand and do all that stuff. There's like I think Rick Veitch is doing that too. Like just exclusively putting his stuff on Amazon and selling it that way. They the royalty checks come and all that stuff, and they like, somebody goes and buys it, I can just say, hey, go to Amazon, look me up, and if you want the book, it's there. Like, even though for indie guys it's almost kind of messed up, because we should be supporting smaller things than Amazon, but they just I can't beat their planes, trains, and automobiles, like.
So Amazon has a print on demand service?
They do, man. I discovered it. Yeah, it's actually, both of those books that I sent you were both printed from Amazon. So that's what they do. Yeah. I think it's called Kindle Direct Publishing. And I originally did, because I'm a novelist as well, and I wrote this book here, and I shopped it to potential publishers, and when I was looking at, like, the way it worked, and of course, like any other struggling first-time author, I got rejected 100 times. So I was like, how can I get this into somebody's hands? Because and I learned about, it used to be called CreateSpace, but now it's called KDP. But I went through Amazon, and it really wasn't that bad, and it was available like the next day. Like, somebody could buy it, versus having to wait for a publisher to keep it on a shelf for like 6 months to a year, and you pretty much control everything, which means you better do like a very professional editing job. You better, you're in charge of typesetting, you're in charge of, with comics, you're in charge of, the production side of it. Make sure the comic itself is put together perfectly, like we all have to do as indie comics people. But with them, like, you just, it works out good. Like, I've been very happy with them. I've also used Kablam in the past. They were pretty cool. I like Comics Wellspring if I'm doing individual issues. Comics Wellspring is pretty awesome. Like, this is the original. Well, that's not the first ever issue, but this is the copy of Wulvern All Roads Ahead Hell issue 1, and I did this through. I keep knocking over my mic. So excited, and everything is put together with. Well, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right, cool. Yeah, sorry, dude. But yeah, so, and I will put the quality of Comics Wellspring up against anything Marvel or DC puts out, like, as far as the print quality, and then, so if you check them out, they're who I always go to for individual floppies. But and they do great trades as well. But so far, nobody can match Amazon's point and click distribution. So, but yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Social medias. What social medias are you on?
I am on Facebook. I'm gonna grab my phone because I don't know the words I don't know the. That's terrible. But on Facebook, if you want to find my main site, it's the. Let me see. Other Worlds of KJ Eldridge -new, and that's gonna have, like, that's like kind of my main hub on Facebook, or you can find me just KJ Eldridge is my regular profile. And each of the books I think has their own Facebook page. Twitter is at KJ Lunar Night, or you can just look for KJ Eldridge and it'll pop up. Instagram, I have a lot of my artwork, and that one I am KJ Lunar, all spelled out, KAYJY Lunar. And if you want to see a bunch of artwork, that's the best place to go for that. Honestly, the thing that collects them all is my website. It's kjeldridgeworlds.com. And if you want a copy of any of my books, as soon as you click on that, the first little blog post has all of the links to go to each one on Amazon and order them. Or you can just contact me directly, and maybe I'll sign it or draw a little picture for you or something, but we'll see.
Wait. Comic-Cons, where are you going to be at in the next couple months?
I am going to be actually in 2 weeks. I'm going to be at the Huntsville Comics and Fan Expo, or Comics and Pop Culture Expo in Alabama. I'm based out of Atlanta, so I do a lot of Southeast stuff. I'm going to be at the Augusta Book Exchange for Free Comic Book Day. That's up in Augusta, Georgia. And the next really, really big one, I'm doing Heroes Con. I'm back at Heroes Con for the first time in about 5 years. In Charlotte. I'm pretty excited about that. So those are my next 3. But I do a lot of Atlanta shows here and there. I just did Emerald City in December up in Seattle. That was crazy. Pre-pandemic, I was, all over the Southeast, all the way up to Kentucky. It just kind of depends. Those are the ones I'm officially going to, though. Huntsville, Augusta,
okay.
and Heroes Con for now, and then we'll see what happens.
All right. What advice would you give for new artists out there that want to get into making comics?
Draw all the time and really think about storytelling. You don't have to be the greatest artist or the greatest writer, but I always try to push for clarity when you're looking at something, so that when somebody's reading your work, if there's a mystery part of the story, it's not because of the way you drew it, it's because you wanted it to be there. I always like to, it's just really think about the medium. There's so much you can do with comics. Draw every day, look at the people that you think are amazing at what they do, and look at the things that work for them. Look at things that you don't like and try to figure out why you don't like it, not because it sucks, but what are the reasons, and then put that into your own work to, avoid those certain things. Just always try to push yourself. One of the things that I like to do as an artist is I'll try to lean into things that I feel like I'm weak at, like perspective. Perspective is always a beast, because everyone knows about the horizon line and the little dot, and you see the road shifting to it, and then it gets smaller, in the vanishing point at the end. But there's a different perspective depending on whatever's shot. And if you think about it as movies, you can do the camera up in the air, you can do it down, sideways. Mm-hmm. You're doing all different things. Push some of those angles. I always mess with them, but one of my artist friends, Cameron Jeffrey, the Black Rabbit, he's a pretty awesome artist. One thing that I always notice is he'll never draw anybody in any of his stuff straight on. Everything's at an angle or a different, something exaggerated. And I try to, when I draw, especially years ago when I first started out, everyone is stiff as a board and straight up and down. And maybe I'll do a zoom in shot, but he was always, everything was coming at a tilt. So I started pushing that, pretty much copying his idea and trying to, I always tell him, I was like, hey, I stole that shot from you, dude. That's that kind of stuff. Always push things that you think that you're weak, because once you get strong in that, then you can push your previous strengths, and it just keeps, a rising tide, raises all ships kind of thing. Just mm-hmm. your skills will go up, and I've got a long way to go, but every time I draw, I try to make it I'm always pushing myself, to try something different. But yeah.
All right. thank you, KJ, for taking the time to come talk with us today. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Just like, buy all my books and say hi when you see me. No, like thank you so much for letting me on here, and you do an amazing job like bringing attention to all of us indie creators. Just it's great. Like, I keep doing what you're doing, man. Like, you're making it. We're all a giant team here.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What? You mean you haven't subscribed to Comicchatauthority? Oh, come on. Subscribe already. What are you waiting for? It's no big deal. Like, man, don't forget to tell him to hit that like button. Yeah, that too. Just subscribe.